Can you start with the fact that tomorrow we must request the correctional service gentlemen to make the same arrangement that the clients who are launching an application should be brought at about 9 o'clock. Is that possible? Like you did today. What time did they bring them?
I'm not sure, but I found them here in the morning, early in the morning.
What time were they brought? No, you can.
We're not away.
They arrived at 9:20.
Okay, yeah, fine. Can you do the same? Arrive, must be brought at 9 o'clock if possible. Fine. Can be slightly late, I suppose. Is that okay, sir? Same time tomorrow. Same thing you did today. Okay. Yeah, fine. Okay.
This is my lord, yesterday during the testimony of the current witness, I raised an objection when he mentioned that all the phones bar that of Khumalo were accounted for at the clinic's tower.
Yeah.
Now, my lord, just to perfect the record, I'd like to refer respectfully the court to the transcript of the 19th of July 2023 at page 25 thereof, and then from line 13, where Mr. Baloyi says to Mrs. Zandile Khumalo, "Yes, you may proceed." And Ms. Khumalo responds, "When we looked around just to see where the other phones were, my mother recalled that she was busy charging her phone on top of the stove and it was still there." That's the first reference. And with regard to the phone of the deceased, we find reference at page 27 of the record at line 3, where Ms. Khumalo is speaking, and she says, "We recovered Senzo's phone right there underneath the stove," and that's in reference to when they returned from the hospital. I'm well cognizant, my lord, of the fact that the cell phone records says otherwise. As the court pleases, my lord.
Yes, sir.
We are aware of that evidence, and we will address the court at the end of the case as part of some, perhaps, other motives at play in this matter.
Okay, so you're not taken by surprise?
No, we are perfectly aware of that.
It's a point you're going to argue?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Thanks, okay.
I literally don't know who to call out. Are we calling out Baloyi or are we calling out Uzandile? Because remember, Baloyi said he is willing to put his head on the block. And Uzandile, Umapopola, yes, she sees everything and knows everything, has literally been caught in a lie. So Uzandile is, in legal terms, what they call contempt of court, lying under oath. Because Uzandi says Senzo Meyiwa's phone was found under the stove. Under the stove how? This is what the stoves in that area look like. Under the stove where? Okay. Let's just say it was under the stove, no problem. Mother's phone was on the counter charging. Khumalo came and cleaned, Mapiri came and cleaned, got rid of all the DNA in the whole entire house, left only Zandi's DNA and the hat in the middle of the floor. And suddenly there's a cracked tile and a bullet that Mapiri never saw. Mapiri strikes me as that very serious woman, okay? She strikes me as that woman who can cook, okay, the beetroot salad for everybody at a wedding, okay? She strikes me as the woman who can do the beetroot salad, the potato salad, the coleslaw, and then she jumps straight into the shakalaka, okay? She's that kind of woman. But then she said, you know what? This is Khumalo's phone. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch her phone. Zandile has been caught in a lie. RAMOSEPELE comes back on day 2. I would like to set the record straight. This is what Zandile said. I don't care what Pinky's documents say. I'm fully aware of that. But it doesn't change what Zandile said. Pinky proves Zandile is a liar, therefore unreliable. A witness testimony from Uzandi. Throw it out. Throw it in the trash. Because we've been saying, how do you popola and see that far and turn your eyes through a keyhole that is literally staring at a blank wall in front of it, but my popola can see everything in the sitting room? But you know what? Asikolapo, because Orams came and said, Tima. So Baloyi, instead of putting his head on the chopping block, says, we are fully aware of that. We are well aware, my lord. And we will deal with that when the time comes. That's all he says. Because he wants to jump right back to the script of corroboration. And thanks to everybody who's been here for the corroboration 101 lessons. And that you guys are seeing the impact of 209. And why we really got to hold hands together and stick it out by paying attention to a Geninda as we move forward. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys coming along on the journey with me. So yeah, I thought that was interesting and I wanted to highlight that. Kudos, of course, to RAMOSEPELE. Okay, kudos. But then I say, wait a damn minute. It's only now. Do you see what Geninda does? He distracts us so much. I hadn't actually noticed the woman who sits behind RAMOSEPELE and passes him papers and speaks to him when he's on, when he is now doing cross-examination, hasn't been there in a few days. Is she okay? Is everything okay? Where is she? Where is she? Because she usually picks up on these things. But that's okay. Because RAMOSEPELE still picked up on it. He still picked up on it. And for that, we are satisfied with him. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts on Uzandi, okay? And her being caught. Has she issued out a statement? Because, you know, she follows these proceedings. She follows them so much that she suddenly bumps into Shalalo on the plane. AKA, she's letting us know that she flies. And she's surprised to see Shalalo there. You see, this is what happens when you look down towards someone and then you find them in places where you think they shouldn't be. And then she decides to turn the wheels to the country and thinks the country will be in an uproar when they find out Shalalo flies to Pretoria all the time for the case. Who is paying for that? Screams Zandile. Who is paying for that? Wow. Listen, if Zandi could just pull out a calculator and calculate how many times Shalalo is in court and calculate her rate, she would take several seats the next time she sees Shalalo in a plane. Okay? So let's continue on because, yeah, it's another day of corroboration.
Okay, you can continue.
As a court, please, my lord.
Brigadier, yes, reminded that they're still under oath.
Yes, my lord.
Sorry, my lord, just before Advocate Baloyi starts, I think yesterday I just requested an indulgence when I was asked to interpret the words that were written over there in Simbi Hlanyisa all over. So Hlanyisa all over. I was asked to interpret the evidence.
Yeah, remember.
Yes. Before I start, my lord, I'll just say that the words used are like in words of slang. That's slang being spoken there. So it's basically interpreted as the tool that makes the gents go crazy. Basically gents, but all over. It's slang for street smart, streetwise. Okay. Someone who's street smart or streetwise.
Okay. So that's the interpretation.
That's correct.
Okay, thanks. Okay. It's photo number, by the way?
I can't remember the number, my lord.
Okay, fine.
Remember the number.
I'll just quickly check my notes.
The cell phone number ends with 2498.
Oh, does it?
The 2498 number at the back.
24?
2498.
What about it?
It's the cell number that we were referring to, the runaway phone, my lord.
Is that so? Okay. Yeah,
to
fine.
this one.
We
Photo
can note of it.
37 was about the firearm being the killing machine.
Yes.
My colleague tells me it's photo number 39.
Okay. Photo 39.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I do have it in Simbi. Yeah, it's photo 39.
Okay, fine.
Yes,
Thanks.
thank you.
Is this one? Yes.
Brigadier Gininda, yesterday you referred to an entry in your diary on the 27th of July,
That is correct, my lord.
2020.
That is correct, my lord.
You testify that this is the entry that was made when the firearm was handed over to Lieutenant Colonel Mangena.
Indeed, my lord, that is correct. In addition to the ones of the SAP firearm register from Cleveland SAPS.
Yes. You've already referred to the entry of the SAP 13 of Cleveland yesterday.
Correct, my lord.
I just want to show you a document, my lord. We've marked it Exhibit T. That will be the extract of the diary of Brigadier Gininda on the 27th of July, 2020. Can you just place the contents thereof on the record?
Yes, my lord. The date it's Monday, July 27, 2020, and the relevant entry, my lord, it's at 14:30, and it reads as follows: Exhibit booked out to FSL ballistic as per SAP 13/86/2015 for safekeeping. Exhibit back number PA 40044043332, sealed and not tempered. Exhibit as per SAP 13/86/2015, handed over correctly to Lieutenant Colonel Mangena. He signed there, but you can see the LT Colonel and Mangena, and then he placed his signature, my lord. And then there's also an entry that says fitted under back PA 400198519. My lord, as I said, this copy forms part of my statement, which is in the docket, which was filed then in 2020. But I've attached it as a proof that I handed it to Colonel Mangena.
But you didn't read the rest of the notation on the diary, where you say NB. Did you read that at the end of this?
No, I didn't, my lord. I can read it in
Just read it because it's part of it. Is that not
Yes,
so?
it is, my lord. Then under NB, my lord, it says the exhibit on the above entry will be utilized as an exhibit as and when the trial starts under Phosphorus 636/1014, and then there's a duty off time of 22:50.
Sorry, whose handwriting is this?
My lord, the top one is mine and the last one is mine. The middle
Okay,
one
yeah.
is my colleague, Sergeant Mhola, who was
Okay,
with me.
okay,
So as I was doing the exhibit, then I asked her to make this entry for Colonel Mangena, but I was there. But the signature attached is the one of Lieutenant Colonel Mangena, ma'am.
Oh, that was a very interesting discovery by Judge Rata, okay? And these are the things that we don't have access to, we don't have the visuals on. we can only rely on the court and the defense to actually pick this up. I'm not sure if the court was picking this up out of curiosity or it was a hint. The defense is going to hammer you on these different handwritings. You better clarify it now while it still sounds like it's coming from an honest space and not from a defensive space. Let me know what you think that was. If it was purely the judge purely asking a question, very innocent question, or if it was a hint, wink situation. Because tell me why a diary entry has two handwritings on it. The top is Brigadier Kininda, the middle is Surgeon Mahola, and then the bottom is Brigadier Kininda, and then the signature is Mangena. Why does it look like a cooking recipe? I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't have visuals of it. I don't know what the standard operating procedure is, but I would love to hear the defense ask, what's the procedure? Who fills out the diary? Is it normal? What is the policy? Why is Mangena signing? Blah, blah, blah. So let's put a pin on this one. Let's hope the defense picks up on it. Okay?
Now, Brigadier Kininda, if we can return to Exhibit FF, Exhibit GG, Exhibit HH, as well as Exhibit JJ. You have testified that as a result of the information and the names contained in these documents, firstly, Exhibit FF, the confession by accused number 1 to Lieutenant Colonel Mboto on the 30th of May 2020. Then Exhibit GG1, the pointings out by accused number 1 to Lieutenant Colonel Hadebe on the 5th of June 2020, as well as photos there too. The pointings out are Exhibit GG, the photos are Exhibit GG1, as well as the two confessions by accused number 2, namely to Lieutenant Colonel Rapadu on the 19th of June 2020, which serves as Exhibit HH before this court, and the confession to Magistrate Grenier on the 24th of June 2020 at Boksburg Magistrate Court, which serves as Exhibit JJ before this court. You mentioned that as a result of the information contained in these documents, you started profiling the persons mentioned therein and eventually leading to the identification of those suspects. Is that correct?
That is correct, my lord.
Can you indicate what those names are and on which document, and as to whether they have any connection with any of the accused that are before court?
That is correct, my lord. So I will deal with Exhibit HH, my lord. Firstly. All right. Now, on the first paragraph, or the second rather, my lord, it's line, the first name in line 5, my lord, it reads as follows. Then I'll just mention the name, my lord. During mid-October 2014, I received a call from a friend, Mthokoziseni, who was with Mapisa. Mapisa, my lord, during the profiling was identified as accused 4. I mean, he says a lot about him, but specifically that's where his name came up, and that is accused number 4. Further down, my lord, it says Karos was nearby as I could hear his voice. This name, my lord, was linked to accused number 3. So Karos is accused number 3. And then he says he decided to leave to Johannesburg, and I'm trying to summarize just to go straight to the names, my lord. He says, I then went to Phosphorus Men's Hostel. I then met with Moses Sibia. And then he also mentioned Sifiso Zungu, which is accused, Muzi is accused number 1, Sifiso being accused number 5. Says when he refers to Sifiso Zungu, my lord, Sifiso Zungu, also known as Nkani, so that is accused 5, my lord. And then it goes further, my lord, to say he was given a briefing and insight, and then he says later Karos Buthelezi and Mapisa joined them. Karos Buthelezi, that is referred, my lord, in terms of the investigation, is accused 3, and Mapisa is accused 4. And the deponent of this document, my lord, is accused number 2. So in essence, from accused 1 to 4, the names are in this confession. They are repeated, as I've indicated yesterday, but in essence, all 5 accused, including the deponent who is accused number 2, are appearing here, my lord. So, my lord, the names are repeated on different occasions, but insofar as the role that we played, but those names are consistent. Accused 1, accused 3, accused 4, and accused 5. So that is insofar as double H is concerned, my lord. Now, if one moves to Exhibit JJ, my lord, on the annexure, my lord, of Exhibit JJ, the first sentence says, I used to work in Carltonville in 2015. I received a call from Sifiso Ntuli. This name was linked to accused 5, my lord, and then that he got his number from Muzi. This name Muzi was linked to accused number 1, my lord. You can bear with me, I just want to go down. While we're in Sifiso's room, Karos and Togoziseni Mapisa arrived. Karos, that name, my lord, was linked to accused 3, and Togoziseni Mapisa is accused 4.
In whose room?
And myself refers to the deponent, who is now accused number 2. Then he says Karos, which is now linked to accused 3, Togoziseni accused 4, Sifiso, which is accused 5, and he says Mozi, which is accused number 1.
So this was the first corroboration exercise of the day, where he uses exhibit H8 first, where it is Bongani Ntanzi's confession, and he is referring to all the 4 other accused, including himself, and this is where names are mentioned, and the Brigadier Gininda says this is where the investigation now has new names and characters, and where they now investigate who these people are. The names that are in the Nganegwana confession, he now ties them to the accused numbers in the doc. But notice when he says Sifiso Zungu, how accused number 5 springs up. Like, how do you give me a whole other surname? So who the hell is Sifiso Zungu, and why is this confession valid? Because there is no Sifiso Zungu right there in the doc. And then Jiggy gets to JJ, Bongani Ntanzi suddenly knows it's Sifiso Ntuli. For me, that's a huge question mark. It's huge, and therefore compromises, his confession, or should I say the authenticity of his confession. And of course, I think it should be thrown out because there is no Sifiso Zungu. That is the argument I would take if I was Shalolo, because what? Why is there a linkage to Zungu? Zungu who? Zungu, the star witness of the case. Zungu, who's alleged to be in the battlefield with the Untuli, and Untuli has threatened Uzungu. Do you see? How would Bongani Ntanzi know that? How would Bongani Ntanzi make that mistake? Remember, he only met Zungu once at the party when he was wearing a black sweater and standing by the kitchen, and then they went to do the pow, and then they came back and suddenly he was in a jiggy gray sweater. Do you remember that? How would Bongani Ntanzi make that mistake on his confession? Do you see what I'm saying? The corroboration isn't corroborating in this case, but the state and Gininda, the lead IO, are desperate for this to make sense. And the reason for that is, without the confession, they just have Zungu. and Zungu is not enough for a conviction. So let me end it here. We'll get to part 2 where we continue on exhibit. I think he's on exhibit JJ right now. We'll continue on that. See where he takes us. I would definitely want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below. I absolutely love it when you do. I might not get to all your comments, but trust and believe, I read them all. I do. I certainly do. Thanks so much. And by the way, please remember, if you've made it this far in the video, you absolutely have my heart. You know the house rules, okay? You absolutely have my heart. Thank you so much. If you've watched all the ads, you're super very much part of the VIP gang. And please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Share this video with 3 people that you just chatted with on your WhatsApp, because you don't want your section 205 out there and it's showing you don't ever share Mzansi Unfiltered's video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in my next upload.